Warning. The HD rants contain scenes of graphic ranting, vein-popping rage, and coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
God. Blu-ray is just so expensive. High-def TVs are so expensive. Blu-ray players! God, I could never afford a Blu-ray player. They're just so expensive. You're still thinking that? You still say that? Are you living 3 years ago? Let's talk about this whole price thing, shall we? Those of you who watch my DVD reviews, like the in-depth ones that I do from time to time, will know that I love to give little history lessons. I love to put things in perspective. You think Blu-ray is expensive, do you? Ooh, $30 for a new release. That's so expensive. Yeah, $30 for a new release in high definition, loaded with extras in deluxe collector's packaging. Yeah, $30 is outrageous. What are they thinking? I love pulling these out. $200 when it originally came out. $200 for a standard definition Laserdisc edition. And that's $200 back in, when did this come out? 1993, I think, was when this was released. $200 in a 1993 marketplace. Take 16 years of inflation onto that. Okay, hang on. No, I'm not done. $160. $160. Standard def Laserdisc collector's editions. And you know what? Us laser snobs happily paid it back in the day. Why? Because it was the best that was available. And you're complaining about $30 for a high fucking definition Blu-ray? Give me a break. How fucking spoiled are people nowadays? I mean, here we are in a recession climate, and we're getting video and audio quality, the likes of which we have never had available before, at a steal of a price. Where are you getting these perceptions from? Oh, but DVD is so much cheaper. Yeah, it is. You know why? Because it came out in 1997. The format is 12 years old, and everybody and their dog has a DVD player, so they can charge less for the hardware and the software, because it's got the market saturation to support the low price point. Blu-ray is barely 3 years old. You honestly expect a 3-year-old format, 3-year-old technology, to be an equivalent price to 12-year-old technology? No! That's not the way the world works. In anything. Something new comes out, it's expensive. Why? Because hardly anybody has it. It hasn't saturated the market. It hasn't caught on yet. So, it's got to be expensive. I talked about this in the last HD rants. That was over a year ago. The point still stands. So, my point still stands. Your point is bullshit. Have you even noticed what's happened just in the past year or so since I did the last videos? Have you noticed? I've tried to illustrate this over the course of my DVD updates and reviews and such over the past year or so. You know, if I find a deal on something, I tell you about it. I'm not bragging about it. I'm making a point. I'm saying, hey, look, I got this thing cheap. It's available cheap. You can get it cheap. But let's take a look at the situation as a whole, okay? A year and a half ago, Blu-ray players were still kind of pricey. Why? Well, the technology was only a year and a half old. They were still just barely out of the format war. Speaking of which, I still say the reason a lot of you have this perception that Blu-ray should be cheaper than it is because of that fucking format war. It fucked it all up. It really did. Because it gave people completely unrealistic expectations. The gradual price drop of Blu-ray over the past 2 years has been realistic. It has been directly proportional to how the format has caught on over that period of time. HD DVD was priced cheap because it was failing. Toshiba was desperate for sales. They were getting slammed left and right. It didn't matter what exclusives they put out. It didn't matter what studios they lured over to the HD DVD side. The format was failing from the second Blu-ray came out. And that's why it was priced so cheap. It was not priced cheap as some godlike benevolent boon to consumers. Oh, Toshiba loves consumers because they priced things so cheap. No, they priced things cheap because the format was dying as soon as Blu-ray came out. Go back and watch my pricing misconceptions video from the original HD rants. Scroll right to the end. I show the sales charts for how HD DVD fared against Blu-ray from the moment Blu-ray hit the market. It got slammed, curb stomped every single week until HD basically disappeared. Until Toshiba said, there is no fucking way we can compete anymore. We give up. The reason I mention this, and the reason I go off about it, is because ever since then, people still, to this day, go on and on and on about how Blu-ray is too expensive. But oh, it has to be, you know, the same price as DVD before I'll even consider it. Yeah, well, okay. See you in 10 years, because that's not going to happen. All right? It'll go down gradually, just like DVD did. You don't believe me? Let's take a little look at the past, shall we? Sherman, set the Wayback Machine for 1999. Now I'm going to post a link over in the description for you to go and check out. And if you don't believe me about what I'm saying about prices, you go to that link and you take a look at what's there. I'll tell you what you'll find there. It's a link to a post on archive.org. Archive.org is a wonderful website full of public domain videos and music and, you know, private, like independent stuff and a lot of archival, historically relevant stuff, such as the link I've posted, which is a link to an old online flyer from Best Buy from 1999, specifically to the page where it lists the new DVD releases. This is 1999. Remember that. 10 years ago. 1999. How much are those new DVD releases going for? Take a guess before I say anything. Just take a guess. Just shout it at the screen. I don't care who's watching you. Wrong! Try 20 bucks. Try 24 bucks. Try $29.99 for a new release on DVD. That's right. 10 years ago. I mentioned inflation. Let's add 10 years of inflation onto that. How expensive are new releases on DVD now? You go to a store. Just pause the video, run to Walmart, come back, tell me how much they are. New releases on DVD. You usually get them discounted on DVD. Same with Blu-ray. Like a lot of places will discount them when they're new releases, so you get a little bit off. Amazon's great for that, actually. They take a lot off when new releases come out. But typically, new releases on DVD are still $20 to $30. Typically. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Then Blu-ray, a format that's barely 3 years old, is priced about $5 more for a new release. Maybe $10 more if it's a big deluxe edition. So what are you paying the premium for? A couple of things. First off, it's a format that's 9 years younger than DVD, so it doesn't have the market saturation to justify that level of price point. Second off, of course you're paying a premium for the fact that it's high definition. Of course you're paying a premium. Why wouldn't you? It makes perfect logical sense. They could be charging twice as much, and it would still be, from an economic standpoint, a logical premium. But they don't. I see people bitching and moaning about how much Blu-ray movies cost, yet new releases on DVD still cost just as much now as they did 10 years ago. That's what you should be complaining about. Why aren't new releases on DVD $5 or $10? Let's talk players. How much did players cost? DVD players back in 1999. Do you remember? Do you remember how much DVD players cost when they first came out? Let's go right back to the beginning. 1997. How much could you expect to pay for a brand new DVD player to take advantage of this cutting edge new technology? I hazard a guess? Try between $1,000 and $1,500. You want me to put it in the Laserdisc perspective again? My Laserdisc player, when I bought it, was $729. You know the kicker? That was considered a mid-range player. They started at around $300 or $400 for just a basic, simple, featureless player. Mine was a mid-range. High range went all the way up to about $2,000 for a good one. Now, would you pay $2,000 for a high-end DVD player? No, of course not. You've been conditioned to expect less. But realistically conditioned, because DVD is so widely saturated that you can get players for as low as $20. $20 for a DVD player. Granted, it's not going to be the best DVD player in the world, but who cares? It's $20. If it breaks, buy another one. You can get a DVD player for less than you pay for a new release. That's insane. If you had told me 10 years ago that that's how cheap DVD players are going to be 10 years hence, I never would have believed it. Not a chance. But here we are. We're living it. Will the same happen with Blu-ray? Well, let's look at the trend. When Blu-ray players first came out, they were what, about, if I recall correctly, about $600-700? $1,000 for a good one? About the same as DVD. The difference being, this is, now here's the part that doesn't make sense. Adding 10 years of inflation onto it, we get Blu-ray players for about $1,000 when the format debuts, okay? That's actually cheaper than DVD when it first came out. Did you catch that connection there? Blu-ray, at its initial stage of introduction, was cheaper than DVD at its initial stage of introduction. Now, factoring in the inflation factor, that means it's not just cheaper on a purely observational level, 1,000 versus 1,000. It's exponentially cheaper, factoring in the inflation. It's $1,000 today versus $1,000 in 1997. That is a huge, huge difference. Now, price-wise, how has Blu-ray fared since? Well, back when I did the original HD rants in March and April of 2008, I predicted that they would break the $200 price barrier by Christmas 2008. Guess what? They did. And then, I can't remember exactly which video it was. I did one of my videos fairly early in 2009 and said, you know what, by Christmas 2009, I wouldn't be surprised if they break the $100 barrier. Actually, I think it was one of my Blu-ray elitist snob videos. You probably remember the ones. Breaking the $100 price barrier by Christmas. Well, I was wrong. Yes, I was wrong. It looks like it's not going to break the $100 price barrier by Christmas. because it's already broken the $100 price barrier. That's right, folks. You can get a Blu-ray player for $100 or less. The lowest I've seen them as of this recording, $98. Come on! How is that not affordable? Or more to the point, how long did it take DVD to break the $100 price barrier? Well, I don't have the exact figure off the top of my head, but I can tell you this for sure. It was not in its third year. So what's the overall point here? Well, Blu-ray is catching on faster than DVD. Accept it, deny it, complain about it. I don't care. That's the facts. Okay? The movies are also dropping in price faster than DVD. The TVs, 1080p TVs aren't that old. They came out shortly after Blu-ray. And they were bloody expensive when they came out. Most high-def TVs at that point were only 720p. So they cleared out the 720p TVs, a lot of you probably have them, to make way for the 1080p. Now, all TVs are 1080p. And you can get a 40-inch or slightly bigger 1080p high-def television for under $1,000 now. How is that too expensive? How much did you pay for your current TV? I'm willing to wager if it's a good-sized TV, probably not much less than that back in the day, depending how long you've had it. So honestly, I don't know what you guys are complaining about, because Blu-ray is dropping in price ridiculously fast, especially in this recession climate that we're living in. It's becoming more affordable all the time. Yeah, okay, I concede. It's a forced upgrade because, well, they've been trying to turn the world high-def for a very long time, and there's no other way to do it. But the same thing happened with TV, switching over from analog to digital, and, more relevant, the same thing happened with DVD. The same thing happened with CDs. When was the last time you walked into a music store and were able to buy a record or a tape of something? Yeah, sure, I know there's a few of them that come out as specialty collector's items because there's a lot of vinyl enthusiasts out there. But that's not what I'm talking about. That's a niche market. I'm talking about the main market, the mass market. You know, everybody, Joe Blow average. CDs took over. DVDs took over. Color TV took over from black and white. Stereo became the standard. Now we have surround sound as the standard. I remember back in the 80s, stereo was being introduced, and everybody was like, oh my god, stereo! I have to throw out my old mono TV! It's the progress of technology, folks. That's the way it goes. It's constantly evolving. We are a species that evolves primarily through our technology. Really, in terms of our development as people, there's not much difference now than there was 100 years ago. We really haven't changed that much as a species. Our evolution is based on our technology. And that's going to continue to evolve and change long after we're all gone. Well, I think that pretty much covers the price issue. Bottom line is, it may be too expensive initially for some of you, but it's coming down in price rapidly and becoming more affordable. It's like this close to being within impulse purchase range. You can just walk in, grab a Blu-ray player, and there you go. The only thing I will say, some of the sub $100 players are Profile 1.1 and not Profile 2. So double check that. You definitely want to get a Profile 2 player because it'll make firmware updates a lot more easy down the line. So, what's next? You'll just have to wait and see. So until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara.